Welcome everybody to the Morning Swim Show for Thursday, April 26, 2012. I'm Jeff Cummings here with Tiffany Elias. We're here at the Phoenix Swim Club pool where the Canadian Olympic team has been here training all week. And the first 2 days of the Morning Swim Show, we broke down the rosters for the men's and women's teams, kind of analyzing what the stories are, the backstories for some of these athletes. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Canada's medal chances for London.
Well, it's always great to see them back on the pool deck here in Phoenix. It's not their first time coming out here, and they're such a great group of swimmers and coaches, so it's such a pleasure when they make it all the way out here.
Absolutely. So medal chances for London are really high for Canada. They've really got a lot behind these swimmers here, and not just money-wise, but they got great history too.
Well, statistics are on their side. For since 1968, Canada has always had at least one swimmer medal, so they've got a good history going behind them going into London. And
three of the biggest names from Canada swimming: Alex Baumann in 1984 won 204 IM in world record time. Victor Davis, 200 breaststroke world Olympic champion. And then a lot of people, especially Americans, can remember in 1992 when Mark Tewksbury beat Jeff Rouse for the gold medal in the 100 backstroke. So it was a very memorable moment. 2008, they only won one medal, and that was the bronze with Ryan Cochran in the 1500 freestyle. Ryan's back here for 2012. And he's definitely going to be one of the people that Canada's really got a lot of their hopes on.
Well, we're definitely going to discuss who on the men and women's side have a chance to continue that history. But what's so great about Canada is that they're so focused on their structure. And in the last couple years, they've really worked to develop Own the Podium, which is an amazing program that's helping their elite athletes get onto that medal stand. And you had the chance to talk with Pierre more about that.
I did. Let's take a look at some of what Pierre had to say about Own the Podium. So Pierre, Own the Podium is really a kind of a relatively new program for Canada. Tell us about the start of it and how it's going so far.
Well, the concept on the podium was to give extra support to athletes who are top 8 in the world. So it was started just prior to the Winter Olympics in about 2008. It was the brainchild of a guy called Mark Lowry, who passed away. And basically the purpose was that, the government helps some of the athletes and so on, but the best ones that need even extra, whether it's better skis or so on and so forth, weren't getting really any more support than everybody else. And so it was really to focus on doing everything possible, that no rock on turn, everything. If you need 3 massages a week instead of 2, and having the funding for that. So that was the #1 purpose. That's when they got Alex Baumann back into Canada to basically run On the Podium. And but I think the other thing that it said that we believe in excellence. We believe in winning. We believe in being the best in the world, and we're going to invest in doing whatever it takes to be the best in the world. It's kind of different between the Ferrari model to the NASCAR model. There's a lot of NASCARs, but to be the Red Bull or the Ferrari, you need, like I often tell the story. For Ferrari, there's 400 employees for one car. And so it's not 3, it's not 8, it's whatever it takes to win. So. I think that was the concept behind Own the Podium, and really saying to the world, or saying to the Canadian athletes, we're there. We'll give you whatever you need.
Own the Podium is such a great program. It's great to see Canada really supporting their athletes to get them up there. Now, on the men's side, hopefully securing one of those medals is going to be Ryan Cochran. He was bronze in 2008, and right now he's a favorite for, we would say, silver going into the mile.
Yeah, I would say at least silver. I mean, it's pretty much going to be him and Sun Yang battling it out for that gold medal. The only thing I would say for Ryan is how well he can hang with Sun Yang for that first 1,000. And then, Sun usually kind of takes off after that, starts dropping his splits by about a half a second to a second on the way to the end of the race. And if Ryan can hang on, it's anybody's race. It's kind of like those two were separated from everybody else in the mile at World Championships, and I kind of see that happening. So if there's any sure thing for Canada, it's Ryan Cochran will get a medal in the 1500 at the Olympics. And he's also swimming the 400. Not as great a medal chance. He's got the likes of Paul Biederman, who's got the speed, Taewon Park, the reigning Olympic champion. So there's a lot of people that have probably a better chance of medaling, but I would say if he can get in that final, anything can happen.
Now, also on the men's side, Brent Hayden. He's going to be one that Canada's watching really closely.
Yeah, this is going to be his last Olympics, and I know he really wants to be able on that medal stand. He's won World Championships in 2007. He was silver last year in the 100 free. He didn't make the final in the 100 free in 2008, so I think that's in the back of his mind. To first get into that final, and then, you know, just like last year, just get his hand on the wall for that medal. And it's going to be a really tight race. Everybody talks about James Magnuson and Cesar Cielo 1-2, but anything is possible in that 100 free, as we have seen time and time again.
You know, I was just going to say that is going to be one of the most competitive races, because anything can happen in 100. So if he can get into that final, I think he's going to be a contender. But those two boys, I think, are really leading the way on the men's side of the Canadian team for securing their chances.
Absolutely. Now for the women, you know, there are 3 or 4 women that I think could, if they get in the final, could really, you know, contend for a medal. It's just a matter of them racing all these medal favorites, and, you know, not worrying about the fact that they are swimming against some big heavyweights. Let's start with Sinead Russell in that 200 backstroke. I mean, potentially Missy Franklin will be in that Olympic final. You got Belinda Hawking, who was second at the World Championships last year. Sinead's got a really good shot, and, you know, I think as I said, she gets in the final, all she has to do is race everybody next to her. And I'm sure the people at the University of Florida, where she's going next year, are really pinning their hopes on her to really kind of have a breakout summer.
Well, I spoke to head coach Randy Bennett yesterday, and he said she is one of who they think is also going to be one of the medal contenders. So there definitely is a little pressure there when you know your head coach is kind of counting on you to be one of those few to step up and make it. Now, I think after 2008, she struggled a bit. But now she's finally back to where she needs to be. But I think what's really cool is that her brother Colin is also on the team, and just that dynamic in and of itself, I know for me personally, would really help a lot. She's going to have that extra support, that extra excitement behind her family. Canada's got 2 sets of siblings, so I just think that's always really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps to be able to go to someone that you know very well on the team and say, look, I'm not having a great day, or I'm really nervous about, you know, getting into this final. And, you know, having your brother or sister there with you to kind of just talk you down and say, you know, it's going to be okay, just go out there and race, could really mean the difference for her especially.
Now, also on the backstroke side, but more of the 100, is Julia Wilkinson. And she's a name a lot of us are familiar with because she came over to the States and swam for Texas A&M. And the thing I love about Julia is that she's so versatile. She can do the IM, sprint freestyle, backstroke. But after talking with some of the staff yesterday, it seems like she's going to zone in more and put more of her eggs in one basket and really go for that 100 backstroke. And I think in the past she's tried to do so much that it's hindered maybe what she could have done had she have gone all in on one. So once again, if she can make it into that final, which is going to be an unbelievable race, she could do some damage there.
Yeah, that women's 100 backstroke final is just going to be unbelievable. I think there are a lot of women out there who, you know, are saying, you know, if I can get in that final, I could win. You know, everybody's maybe rightfully so pegging Missy Franklin as the favorite. She hasn't made the team yet, so we can't really say that she's the favorite. Right now, it's Anastasia Shueva based on her time from Russian Nationals, but anything can happen in that 100 backstroke, like we saw at World Championships last year. I mean, Natalie Coughlin was winning for basically 98 meters, and Gao Cheng went in there and got the gold medal. So it's really just a matter of who is the better racer, especially in those hundreds. You just gotta be confident that you can, you have the early speed and you have the finishing speed, and Julia has that. She knows how to race. I mean, that's what the NCAA is all about, and she knows that well. And all she has to do is get that lane in the final, and I think she'll have the confidence to do that.
And another thing on Julia's side, which is I think only going to help her, is that she's engaged to a Texas A&M baseball player. So I think she's going to have a lot of excitement on her side. I think going through an engagement is one of the most, I haven't experienced it myself, but it should be one of the most exciting periods of your life. So coupling that with the Olympics, she should be on cloud 9. So I think that's kind of dangerous.
And it probably even takes her mind off all the pressure of swimming in the Olympics. Obviously, this will be her second Olympics, so she knows what it's like. But, you know, dealing with wedding plans, you know, kind of takes the pressure off of, you know, whether she swam well enough in workout today, or, you know, gosh, these girls are putting up really fast times. I think it just, that, you know, it's like Sinead having her brother on the team. You know, this is something that can be a very welcome distraction for her.
All right, so one of the biggest storylines on the female side is the 200 breaststroke. As we know, current record holder Anna Mae Pierce is not here training in Phoenix with the Canadian team. We've got two other ladies stepping up, Martha McCabe and Tara Van Bylen. What are your thoughts on that breaststroke? You had a chance to speak with Pierre about that as well.
Yeah, and Pierre was really kind of optimistic about Martha and Tara's chances, especially since they trained with Anna Mae, who's been a really instrumental part with them. And here's what Pierre had to say.
I think anything's possible. I do think these two girls are going to help each other push back. You know, to Martha's credit at the Olympic trials, she said, you know what, I'm really excited to be on the team, and we really need to thank Anna Mae for setting the tone of all the great training standard that she allowed us for us to get to where it is. And I do think that's what the environment that was created, you know, with Joe and his 4, 5, 6 breaststrokers. They push each other to greatness, and so I think anything's possible. They certainly feel like they belong to, you know, in the finals, and then in the finals anything's possible. I think, you know very well, times don't win the Olympics. Place wins the Olympics. Race wins the Olympics. So we don't. It's not just about training to train; it's training to race. And certainly having these two girls head to head every day is exciting.
So those are our 5 or 6 medal contenders we think could, as Pierre would say, own the podium in London. And I think, you know, a lot of these younger kids who are swimming at their first Olympics, or even some, you know, like Audrey Lacroix, who's 28 years old, one of the big veterans for the team. Anything could happen. That's what the Olympics is all about, just getting out there and racing and having the swim of your life. And I think that's what a lot of these swimmers are here to do with this training camp here, is to get themselves set up to be in that final and hopefully win that medal.
Jeff, I think you're right about that, and I'm really excited to see what Canada's going to do after getting to experience some of their training firsthand.
Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back here tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Swim Show here from the deck at Phoenix Swim Club.